Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ifoma. So in today's tutorial we're going to be making this beautiful shirt with an elastic waistline. Okay, so this is a very free top shirt and it also have two sides pockets. So if this look at what you're interested in, definitely keep watching and also hit the share button and also give this video a thumbs up. Let's dive into the video. So to begin, these are all the measurements you'll be needing. You'll be needing the length of this pant, you'll be needing the hip, round hip circumference, you'll be needing the thigh, the round thigh circumference, you'll be needing the waist, the round waist circumference, and be needing the crotch of the pants, which you take by measuring from your waist down to your crotch depth. Okay, so to begin, the first thing you're going to do is to determine the fold of your fabric. Okay, we are pretending that this is fabric and is on fold. Okay, so to get that fold, what you are going to do is you are going to divide your thigh measurement by 2. Okay, whatever you have, you are going to add 1 inch to it. Okay, so the thigh you are working with, remember that whenever you are taking your measurement, because this pant is a free pant that has an elastic, whenever you are taking your measurement, make sure it's free. Okay, make sure that your measurement is a very free one. Okay, so what we are using here is 26 inches. Okay, because it's supposed to be a free pant, remember. So 26 inches is our thigh. We are going to divide it by 2, and when we divide 26 inches by 2, it's going to give us 13 inches, right? So I'm going to add 1 inch to this, and then we have 14 inches instead. Okay, so we are using 14 inches as the fold of our fabric. So I'm just going to take this 14 inches like this. I'm going to measure it again so I can connect this with a straight line. So remember, if you are working on your actual fabric, this is how to get your fabric fold. Okay, so I'm just marking it here so we know that this is the end. This is where our measurement is going to end. Okay, so here I'm just going to mark out 0.5 inches from here. Okay, just so I draw a clear line from where we are going to be taking all the body measurements. Okay, so on this line now I'm going to label it the waistline, so we know that whatever measurement we are taking it from this line. Okay, so having gotten that, the next thing we are going to do is to take our crotch measurement. Okay, so the crotch measurement we are using here is 10. All right, so whenever you are taking your crotch measurement for a free pant like this one, and therefore to add 1 inch to it. For instance, if you are using 9 inches to sew your corporate trouser, that means that you are going to use 10 inches to sew this free trouser, because the flap is not supposed to be tight. Okay, so I'm using 10 inches instead of 9 that I normally use for my corporate pants. All right, so when I've gotten this is going to be our crotch line. Right, so after taking your crotch line, the next measurement you want to take is your hip line. So to get your hip line, you are going to come up on your crotch line by 2 inches. All right, so this right here is your hip line. Okay, so on this your hip line now, you are going to take your hip measurement, divide it by 4, and then you are going to impute whatever you have here. All right, so before I continue, I want to make something clear. When you are imputing your thigh line, your round thigh measurement, remember you are dividing it by 2. Okay, so from here, from this your thigh measurement down, whatever you're taking from here down, you're going to be dividing it by 2. But whatever you're taking from your hip line up, you're dividing it by 4. Okay, so this hip line you're dividing by 4, and the waistline you're dividing by 4 as well. While the thigh line and the hemline and every other line, you are dividing it by 2. I hope you understand this. So on your hip line, you divide your hip measurement by 4. Whatever you have, you're going to add 1 inch to it. Okay, so this is what I have. I added 1 inch to it, and this is it. All right, so you are going to connect this line now. This is your hip measurement. You are going to connect it up to the waistline. Okay, up to the waistline. So let me just indicate this as the hip line. All right, this is the hip line. All right, so the next thing I'm doing is I'm taking the measurement for the full length of this pant, and the full length of this pant is 14 inches. We are going to add 2 inches for the folding allowance, which is going to make it 16 inches. Okay, and when you already gotten that 16 inches, you are going to minus 2 inches for the band. Remember, we have a 2 inches band on the waist of this pant. Okay, so which is going to bring it back to 14 inches. So I'm going to mark 14 inches here. So I'm just marking that 14 inches all the way here so I can get a straight line. All right, so this is what we have. We are going to call this the full length. All right, so having gotten this, the next thing we are going to go ahead to do now is to get our crotch curve. Okay, so to do that, on this line you are going to come out on this angle here. You are going to go out on this angle by 1 inch. Okay, so when you have gotten this, you are going to connect this line from here, from this point here. You're going to connect it to this angle to the end of your pants. Okay, so at this point, if you have your curve, you can make use of your curve. If you don't have, you can also make use of your free line, of your free hand. Okay, so this is what I have. When I connected it, you can definitely make use of your free hand. So let me just use my marker and make this clearer. Okay, so this is what we have here. This is our crotch line. All right, so when I've gotten this, the next thing I'm going to do is to work on the waist. Okay, so on the waist, if you are making a corporate pant, you are going to take your waist measurement from the inside out. Remember, when we are taking our thigh measurements, we are going from the outside of the pant to the inside. On the waist, on the hip line, we are going from outside of the pant on the inside. But when you're taking your waistline, you are taking your waistline from inside, which is on this crotch line, to the outside. Okay, so you're going to divide your waist by 4. If you're making a corporate pant, you're going to divide your waist by 4 and you're adding 1 inch to it. So whatever you have, we are going to mark it. For instance, you have 9. Okay, when you divided your waist measurement and added 1 inch, you have 9. You're going to connect that 9 from here down to the hip line. Okay, but because we are making a free pant, we are not doing anything to this waist. We're just leaving it like this. Okay, remember, because we are making a free pant that's going to be gathered by elastic on the waistline, we are not doing anything to the waistline. Okay, but if you are making a corporate pant that you're going to use belt, that is going to have a zipper, then you are going to take your measurements like this, and then you're going to just connect it from whatever you have to the hip line. I hope this is clear. So what we are going to do now is, on this waistline, I'm going to alter this waistline by coming down from the waistline by ½ of an inch. Okay, that is because the depth, the front, our front waist is not just straight, it has a little bit of a tiny curve on the midpoint. Okay, so when you have gotten this, you're just going to connect this with a straight line back to the actual waist of this pant. Okay, so this is what it's going to be like. So I'm just going to use my marker and make this place clearer. Okay, so because we are also working on a free pant, we are not going to shape this, but if you want it to have a little bit of a shape, just come in on this place, just come in on this line here. Okay, this is the line, this is our full crotch line. Okay, just come in by 1 inch or ½ of an inch, depending on how small or how big you want it to be. And then on this side as well, you just come in by ½ of an inch or 1 inch, depending on how small or how big you want it to be. Okay, so this is our round lap measurement. You also need your round lap measurement. Okay, so this is our round lap measurement. Whatever you have here is supposed to be your round lap measurement. But if you want it to be shaped, if you come in, let's say my round lap measurement is 24 inches and I'm coming in by ½ of an inch in both sides, so I'm going to measure now from this ½ of an inch to this, the other ½ of an inch, and what I have is 26 inches which is still very much okay. Okay, but because this is a free pant and I want everything to just be as big as it is, I'm going to leave it like this. Okay, so I'm going to use my marker now and draw out all the places we are going to cut, just to make it clearer. Okay, so these are all the places we are going to cut. We are going to cut tracing the blue line that we have here. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead now and cut it out. So this is what the front looks like. We are going to go over now and start marking the back. So for the back, what I did is I pinned the front on another pattern paper. Okay, so on this side, on the shaping side, I left at least 2 inches space on the back part. Okay, so what you have there is 2 inches. So what I'm going to do now is, the back is supposed to be wider than the front by 2 inches on the side, 1.5 inches on the top, and that top is supposed to be the center. Okay, this is the flap part. Okay, so on just the flap, we are going to come up on the waist side by 1.5 inches on the flap. So from here we are going to connect this 1.5 inches back to the waist, so that while we are joining it, it's still equal on the side. I hope you understand this. A lot of people make this mistake, that when they join something here, they are going to extend it to this part. So when you are joining it, you're going to find out that the back is going to be longer than the front. No, that's not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is, you are going to extend it on just the flap area, and then from there you are going to make a line and make sure that the waist on the shaping area is equal both from the front and the back. Okay, I hope you understand this. And on the crotch, the back is wider than the front by 1 inch on the crotch side. Okay, so here is 1 inch, and then on the crotch end like this, 1 inch as well. Okay, so this is 1 inch we've added, and then 1 inch here as well, and then we are going to extend this line to meet that 1 inch. Okay, so when we have achieved all this is 1 inch. I'm going to connect it with a straight line. Okay, so this is it. When we have achieved all this, from this angle as well, from this angle here, so here is the angle here, between here and here, so which is that here is the angle, right? So from there we are also going to come out like we did for the front by 1 inch, and then we are going to connect. Okay, so I'm just going to use my free hand and connect instead. Okay, so this is what we have for the back, for the crotch part. And then here, from this 1 inch we came out with to this place, we're just going to connect from there. From this 1 inch we came out from, this is the one where we came out from, the 1 inch. I just extend it to meet this 1.5 inches that we went up with. Okay, so from there we are going to connect that back to the waist of this cloth. Right, so this is what we are supposed to have. That is for the back. So I'm just going to make this one a little bit clearer with my marker, so we see exactly what we are doing. All right, so I'm just going to connect this. All right, so this is what we have for the back. And then remember, we left 2 inches for the side here. We are also going to extend this straight line to meet that 2 inches, and then this is what we are going to have. Okay, so on the, remember we already went out by 1 inch here on the inside, so we are going to use 1 inch on this side, so that when you add that 1 inch we entered from with this 1 inch here, is going to give us 2 inches. Okay, so on this part we are also going to go out on this line by 1 inch, and then on this line as well you are going to go out by 1 inch, so that when you add up the two of them, it's going to give you 2 inches. Okay, I hope you understand this. So that means that on both sides you are going to go out by 1 inch, and this is just for the back alone. Okay, so that when you sum the two of them up, you are going to have 2 inches. So like I said when I was starting this video, that the back is supposed to be wider than the front by 2 inches on the side, and then on top of the waistline by 1.5 inches on only the crotch side, but on the waist is going to be equal. Okay, so just watch closely while I cut this out. So this is what we have. Okay, this is the back and this is the front. So let me just label this. This is the back. Oh, sorry, this is the front. This is the front. And this is the back. Okay, so having gotten this, we are going to go ahead now and trace this pattern out on our actual paper fabric. Okay, so as you can see, when I place these two together, have you seen, when I place it together, the waist part is equal. Have you seen? This shaping part is equal. But if you had made it straight from here, you're going to find out that this place is going to be longer than this place. Okay, so I hope you understand this. Even if we extend this to this side is still equal. Okay, so when you are making yours, endeavor that you do it correctly. So here I had my fabric unfold. All right, this is my fabric unfold, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut this. Okay, I'm going to cut it equal the way it is, except for the waist part where I'm going to add a 0.5 inches for the adding of for the joining of the band. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead now and cut everything out. So this is what it looks like after I was done cutting it out. Okay, this is the back and this is the front. Okay, so this is it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now and cut the pocket. So here I went ahead to cut out the pocket. So this is what the pocket looks like. We are going to go ahead now and start working on these pants. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is to join the front together. Right, the right side facing each other. This is for the front. Remember, this doesn't have a zipper. Okay, so we're just going to join the front using 0.5 inches. This is the crotch area, so I'm just pinning it down so we see what we are working on. Okay, so while I pin it down like this, we are going to go ahead and join it using 0.5 inches. Okay, all right, and when we have achieved that, we are also going to go ahead and join the back part as well. Using that same 0.5 inches on the crotch area. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and do this now. So this is what we have when we are done joining it. This is the back and this is the front. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, on the shaping side of both sides, we are going to come down by 1 inch. Okay, so this 1 inch is for the fixing of the pocket. Okay, I'm going to mark this on the right side, on the back part, and also on the front part. Okay, so when you have done that, this is your pocket. This is what it looks like. So on this part that has a bigger, now this part that goes down like this is how the pocket looks. This part is supposed to be the down part. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach this pocket like this, making sure that this point that's supposed to be the down part is the down part. Okay, so but what you're going to do is you're going to place it like this. Okay, you're going to place it like this. Okay, right side facing each other from that 1 inch that you just marked. Okay, you're going to place it and pin it down. Right, you're going to do the same thing for the other side. You're going to place the other side from the 1 inch that you came down with. You're going to place it there and pin it down. Okay, so you're going to keep this aside and do the same thing for the right side. Remember, the pocket is supposed to be 4 pieces, so I'm just placing all the 4 pieces on all the sides of our pants. Okay, so from the 1 inch that you came down, just pin this to the side. You are also going to do the same thing for the other side as well. Okay, so after doing that, the next thing you are going to do is measure 7 inches, because your pocket is supposed to be 7 inches. So you are going to leave half of an inch on the beginning of your pocket like this. This is where the 1 inch you came down with, you placed your pocket, then you leave half of an inch there. Then from that half of an inch, you measure 7 inches and mark it on the pocket. Okay, so this is how you are going to shape it with that 1 inch that you measured all around. Okay, but for now, let's just do this. What we are going to do now, we are going to go over to our sewing machine and attach this pocket from where it started to the end, then double stitch on it. You are going to do this exact same thing on all parts of the pocket. Where place you place it, that 1 inch down that you placed it, you are going to attach it, sew it to 0.5 inches straight to the end of the pocket, and then stop stitch on it. You are going to do the same thing for the back part as well, and then when we come back, you show us how we are going to shape this. So after I was done doing that, this is what we have. Okay, so after I was done sewing this pocket, this is what we have. Remember the 1 inch we left from the upper side of the pocket to the 7 inches. That's what we are going to use to shape it right now. Okay, so I'm going to place the front and the back right side facing each other. If you place it, this is what it's going to look like with the pocket also. Then we are going to use 1 inch to shape this pants. Okay, we are going to use 1 inch. We are going to shape it round. We are going to use 0.5 inches on the pocket, round like this, and then we are going to continue with the pants. Okay, so from here 1 inch, then use the 0.5 inches that we measured on the pocket, round with the 0.5 inches throughout the pocket. And when we are getting here, we are going to measure from that 0.5 inches to 7 inches, which is the measurement of our actual pocket. Okay, so when we have gotten that, we are going to continue and use 1 inch to close up the pocket. We are going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay, note that when you are shaping it, it's not going to be equal like this. See, the back is wider than the front. Remember that that is the way we cut it. So after shaping this side, just draw this one, okay, and make sure they are equal on the other side, so you can shape it the same way we shape this side. Okay, so after shaping it, you are going to go ahead and fold the down part like this. All right, after shaping it, this is what it's going to look like. We're going to open it up and it's going to be like this. Okay, so you are going to fold it using that 2 inches that we added. If what you added is 1.5 inches, it's okay. If what you added is 0.5 inches, anything you added, you're going to use it and fold the down parts. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now and do all this. So we shape the clothes and then we go ahead putting the band of the pants. So this is what we have after we are done shaping it. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and shape the remaining parts. Okay, look at it. I'm just going to close it up and shape it. Yours might be longer after sewing, but because this mine is very short, that's why you are seeing something small like this has the shaping on the flap. Okay, so after shaping, we are done with the down part. It's just remaining the band. All right, so what you're going to do for this band is you're going to take your measurement. But let me turn it to the right side so we understand better. All right, you're going to take your measurements round. I'm starting from the center front. Okay, so this should not confuse us. Place your tape like this from the center front, then take it round. Okay, from the center front. You can start from anywhere, but just remember where you started. So what I have here is 41 inches. Okay, what I have is 41 inches. We measured it round. Remember, we did not measure it like this, because if you measure it like this, we are not going to get the exact. Look at it, we don't even have up to 40 inches when we measure it like this. You just have to measure it to one round. Okay, what we have is 41 inches. That means that if we are cutting our band, we are going to cut it 41 inches plus the sewing allowance, okay, which is 42 inches. Right, so we are going to use this fabric to cut out our band, and that band is going to be 4.5 inches in width. Okay, so the width like this is going to be 4.5, and the length is going to be 42 inches. So let me measure 4.5. Okay, so I cut into two because one is not going to be enough for the length I'm using. Okay, so if yours is one is enough, then I'm just going to cut out one piece. Okay, but because it's not long enough, that is why I cut out two pieces. All right, take note. So this is it. I'm just going to go ahead and join these two together so it becomes one piece. Like I said, if yours is long, just leave it at one piece. So I'm going to join these together so it becomes one piece, and I'm going to measure. Remember, our round waist is 41 inches, so I'm going to measure 42 inches. Okay, this is 42 inches. This is 42 inches. So remember, I'm still going to join here. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to go over to my sewing machine and join it here. Okay, all right, so that is going to be round like this. Remember, just forget about this joining here, just pretend that this is a one-piece band. So I'm just going to go over to my sewing machine and join here so it becomes round. Okay, so I'm going to go over, shape the remaining part of this, then join this, then we'll start talking about the way we can fix our band. So this is what it looks like after we are done joining it. As you can see, it's round now. Okay, so this is the elastic we are using. This is the 2 inches elastic. I remember when we are cutting this, we cut it at 4.5, so that when we fold it like this, it's going to be enough to house our elastic and still remain some inches for us to join it to the waist of the cloth. But if you are not strong enough, in fact, use 5 inches to cut this out so that it's going to be much easier for you to join it. But me, I'm most comfortable using 4.5 because I don't like too much allowance coming out after I join it. So use 5 inches while you're cutting yours, so that when you fold it, you're going to have up to 5 inches, 0.5 or more than to join it to the pants. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure. This is half. Remember that we already joined it at this round like this, so this is half of the waist, right? I'm going to measure half of the waist on the elastic, and I'm going to add from 5 inches upwards to it for it to be easy to sew. So I decided to add 7 inches. You can add from 5 inches upwards depending on the elasticity of your band. Okay, if you stretch your band and it's not too elastic, it doesn't draw much. Look at it, so that when I draw it, it's going to be perfect on the band. Okay, so if you draw your elastic and it doesn't draw much, if it doesn't elast that much, then you can add up to 10 inches to it. Okay, so but measure the half of your waistband and add some inches. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and join this elastic the same way we join our band. Okay, but you're just going to place one side of the elastic on one side and just match on it using something really tiny. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead now and do that. This is what we have. We've joined the elastic and we have also joined our fabric. Okay, so I'm going to put this elastic like this, wrap the elastic with our band. Okay, so I'm going to do this now, and I'm going to go over to our sewing machine and sew this down. Okay, so I'm going to match here. Remember, there is also a rope at the front of this band. There's also a rope. Okay, so I'm going to join here, I'm going to match here, leaving about 0.5 inches in the middle, and I'm also going to match on the down part as well. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my sewing machine. While I'm matching on top, I'm drawing the elastic so that at the end of the day, it's going to meet up with the length of the band, because as you can see, the band is longer than the elastic. But when you are sewing it and you are drawing the elastic, at the end of the day, they are going to end up being equal. Okay, so I'm going to sew on the top like 0.5 inches. Then I will leave another 0.5 inches in the center for the rope that is going to be in the center. Then I'll also sew on the down. If I'm sewing on the down, making sure, why I'm sewing is I'm making sure that there is space. Okay, so just push it to the end here, make sure that there is no space in the end, so that while I'm sewing it, I'm making sure that there is allowance for me to join this to the actual pants. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and do that. I'm going to go ahead now and match this, and then we'll continue from there. So this is what we have after we are done sewing it. Okay, this is what we have. All right, so what we are going to go ahead to do, remember when you are cutting your band, use 5 inches instead of the 4 inches that I said earlier, so that you are going to have enough room to join it to your pants. You can even use 6 inches. After putting your elastic, you can trim off the excess. Okay, so after that, we are going to go ahead now and join this. All right, so we are going to join this now to the waist, and what we are going to do is we are going to start attaching this using 0.5 inches or whatever space that is remaining after you are done attaching your band. But it's supposed to be 0.5 inches because we added 0.5 inches when we are cutting the pants. Okay, so what we are going to do now is I'm just pinning this so that we can start there to sew, and while we are sewing, we are drawing it. Remember, we cut the band exactly the length of our waist, so I'm just drawing it and sewing. Okay, you're going to start one place, draw it and sew until you have sewed it all round. All right, so I'm just going to go over to my sewing machine now and do that. Like I said before, while you are sewing this, you're just going to be drawing it because the length of this band is the absolute length of your waist, so you're not going to be afraid that it might not reach or it might be longer. Okay, just draw it and sew. So while you're sewing it, make sure you are not sewing the elastic, you are only sewing on your fabric. Okay, so that is why you're supposed to tuck in the elastic and have enough allowance remaining to join it to your band. So this is what it looks like. This is the front and this is the back. Okay, so to put the rope, what you are going to do is, this is the center front, right? What you are going to do is you are going to open 2 holes here. This is the center front, so you are going to open 2 holes here, maybe 0.5 inches away from the center. You're just going to open 2 holes. I'm also gonna head to sew a rope that I'll be using, so do sew a rope as well. Okay, just open a very tiny hole. This hole, you are supposed to pipe it, so don't just leave it rough like this. So here I opened a very tiny hole. I'm going to use a safety pin or anything to just pass this rope from this side and bring it up from the other side. Okay, so this is just it for these shorts. All right, so we are done. After we just pass the rope, we are done with these shorts. All right, so this is how beautiful it looks. Okay, this is it. This is how beautiful it's looking. So guys, this is what it looks like after we are done. This is how beautiful it's looking. So if you're a new subscriber, please hit the subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell. Okay, also give this video a thumbs up if it helps you in any way. I'll see you guys in the next one.